Welcome to the Marshashana Yoga Show. This is our first shoot since before the virus hit us in March. My son Mark, the director of the show, and I are so happy to be back at it. Mark will also be playing some music for us during Savasana. Music is his first love. Of course, nowadays I also have my co-host Ryan here with me, and she's happy to be back too, right, Ryan?
So happy and thankful and grateful and all the other yogic terms you can think of.
Yeah, we've heard so much about the virus and such for 6 solid months. Now we've lived it and breathed it, or hopefully not. What do you think, Ryan?
I think I'm just more than ready to, again, get in our Zen zone here in happy Milford TV, and even though we're 6 feet apart, I'm very grateful.
Yes, it is so good to be back.
And that's what yoga is all about, being thankful and grateful.
Exactly, and it brings some normalcy because we're back where we were doing our regular thing. I do want to take a look at this experience from a yogic perspective, or at least from my perspective. You've heard that expression, everything for a reason. And well, that'll make you shake your head no with regard to COVID. However, I feel like each of us is on our own path. This is what yoga has taught me. That means I won't be judging others for the part of the path that they are on. It also means that when stuff does happen that we don't like and we have no control over it, or the opinions we must hear that are not shared by us, then we face this stuff with equanimity. So we accept that we must stay 6 feet apart, that we must wear masks, and that our lives have changed for now and maybe forever. We never do know what the future holds, so best to leave that alone too. Even if we never personally experience the virus itself, or within our circle of family and friends, it will still leave an indelible mark on us. Ryan, what has been the hardest part of this for you?
For me, I think the hardest part has been, because you know me, I'm a very lovey-dovey, like touchy-feely. I think the toughest part for me is not being able to give hugs to folks who are not my family, or when I'm in the grocery store and I see a veteran with his World War II cap on. I cannot go up to him and shake his hand and say, "Thank you for your service, sir." And that, look at me getting kind of emotional right now. That's been really the toughest part for me through all this.
Yeah, the distancing.
Yeah.
We're used to being close. I love hugging my yoga students, so that part is so hard, Ryan. I think you're right. Of course, all the little things that we took for granted, like seeing our children and our grandchildren, even the ones that live downstairs from me, had been taken from us. Like picking up groceries at the store and not being panic-stricken that they are covered in deadly germs. Like not seeing growing numbers of mortality every day on television. Yes, it seems to me that the universe has nudged us into a place where we must now pay attention to the little things that we once took for granted. Wake up! Be grateful for what you have.
Yes, and there's a professor at Yale that has a very popular course called Psychology in the Good Life. It teaches us about the things many of us know: eating right, sleeping well, exercising regularly, and managing stress. But there's another piece, and that is that humans are terrible at determining what makes them happy. This we know.
We do.
So humans go after power or money or such and overlook the little things. Well, the experience with the virus taught us to enjoy the little things.
It is, in the end all, the little things that mean so much. To quote Thoreau, simplify, simplify. I keep a list in my gratitude journal of the things that are bad about this pandemic, and I also keep a list of the things that were good about it. Here's some of the good things. More time with those in my household, and that would be Mark and his dad. Lots of cleaning and organizing done, and projects getting done. Zoom meetings for some yoga and for Mark with the respite center. Less stress and responsibility because no classes to teach. Mark and I have not been sick with other colds or flus or anything as well. And it's been a very peaceful time. The Cape is much less congested, at least in June it was. And I had dental work, including a missing front tooth. So the mask has been a blessing. What is your take on that, Rai?
I think I echo and reverberate many of the things you said. I have my little fur baby, and I've really been able to not only spend more time with her, but really try to work with her about more things with training at home and such, and just getting my crafty critter projects done. And Zoom, I myself have participated in many Zoom meetings. For example, of the groups that always met over at the Brain Injury Association office in Westboro, we've obviously had to go all virtual, but we've still been able to do that. We actually had a paint night via Zoom, and we were all very pleasantly surprised with how those works of heart came out. So
that's awesome. And for our audience, Ryan was a victim of traumatic brain injury at one time through a cheerleading accident. So she is very involved with that traumatic brain injury community. Yeah, and for me, the bad part is like not seeing my grandkids, as I mentioned, and those awful, terrible weekly trips to the grocery store early in the morning for senior hours, where I would be so anxious and dripping sweat and nearly gasping for breath behind the mask by the end of it all. Mark has had to hold off on his plans for a job as well, and we are finally just getting started on that. Yoga does teach us to face these things with calmness and to live in the moment. With that thought in mind, let's move to the mat. So let's bring our attention now to the rise and the fall of our breath. Just resting here, allowing all thoughts to descend. Allowing the body to come to a still place and allowing the mind to follow. So as we inhale divinity. And as we exhale, we let go of the ego. Just inhaling and exhaling, nothing more to do. So today, as you rest here, I'll just talk for a minute about one of the niyamas. We know there are 8 limbs to yoga, and the postures and the breath work are 2 of them, but there are 6 others. And the first 2 are yamas and niyamas. And the niyama is, and these are just righteous ways of living. There's 10 suggestions for a good life. And one of them is sosha, which is cleanliness, and purity, and clearness. And that's purity of mind, body, and speech. So in this way, we pay attention to our environment, keeping it clean, so that the mind can be just as uncluttered. We watch what we eat, eating clean food. We do our breath work, the pranayama, which purifies the body. And meditation helps unclutter the mind. So with that in mind, let's just take the arms long by the ears, bringing the palms facing each other and reaching through your fingertips as you push your heels away. And just taking a few nice big deep breaths. And then with your next exhalation, allow your hands to drift down by your sides. And then just place your hands at your abdomen and let them rest there. Noticing as you breathe the ascension of the abdomen as you inhale, and how the abdomen descends as you exhale. And just being aware of that, let's do 3 yogic breaths. So we're going to inhale, nice full inhalation, pause at the top, then exhale and pause at the bottom, and then just do it again. So let's do 3 breaths in that manner, beginning now. And when you've done with those breaths, just come back to the rise and fall of your breath. And let's again take the arms long by the ears. And as you do that, point your feet for a moment and just let the feet stretch across the top. And then bring the toes up and the arms down. And if you are on a pillow, take that out from under your head and set that aside. Now, if your chin juts up, then you want to leave the pillow. But as long as it's coming here and the chin is down, that's fine. Let's bring the feet to the floor one at a time. And let's do a little pelvic tilt. And when we do that, we press the feet and the small of the back into the floor. We don't lift up off of the floor. The body does not leave the floor. And then we release. And then again, we press that lower back down as we warm the back up. And then release it. And once more, pressing down. As we do that, the pelvis kind of comes towards the face. And then releasing that. And then just putting some weight on the buttocks and just rocking the knees a little side to side, waking up the glute muscles in the back.
Windshield wipers, if you will.
Yeah, kind of like that, like modern day ones. They both go in the same direction. And then coming back to the middle. Extend your left arm and your left foot and stretch that side of the body. And then bring that arm down and that foot up and stretch the right side of the body, extending that. And then bring that arm down and the other foot back up. And then draw your knees up, bring your hands to the top so the fingers are pointed forward. And as you inhale, extend your arms long, stretching the shoulders. Then exhale back in. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale forward. And exhale back as we just squeeze the abdominal organs, squeezing them like a sponge, getting rid of toxins. Let that come forward and make some circles, keeping the knees and feet hip distance apart. And then go back the other way, a few rotations that way. And then come to the middle and cross your ankles and widen your knees. So widen them a bit. and rock that in and out. And then try rocking a little bit side to side. And then coming to the middle, move the feet out a little bit, just a little bit away, but keep your knees wide and rock side to side. And then come back to the middle and rock in and out, just leaving the feet right where they're at that position. A little more open now. And then come back and just open the feet a little more, but widen your knees and rock side to side. And then come back to the middle and rock gently in and out. And then just hold the front of your shins, if you can, or if you have to, you can hold back here too. And just draw that into the chest as much as you're able, just so that you get a little squeeze in the internal organs there. As we are focusing on cleanliness today, so we're trying to squeeze stuff out, just get the body clean. And then uncross your feet and bring your soles in front of you. Take your 4 fingers and put them at the knee crease and just rest them there. Have the feet hip distance apart, point and flex your feet. And then make some big circles, just as we wake the ankles up a bit. And then go the other way.
Snap, crackle, pop.
Yes, and there can be that. And then extend the legs about 3/4, almost all the way. And bring your hands to the sides of your thighs and rock a little back and forth here. Side to side, I should say, side to side. And then come to the center and back and forth, in and out. So rock that in and out. Just gently, not lifting up too much. And then change the cross and rock in and out again. And then uncross them, and with your arms long, extend your legs up. So make sure that you don't take your head off the ground and that the shoulders stay down. So you don't want them to be up like this so that the shoulders are way up. You want to lengthen your arms though. And then bring the feet to the floor one at a time and lengthen the body, just stretching through the sides of the waist, lengthening. Anytime we stretch like that anyway, we have those feel-good chemicals that release, so it's good. And then bring the arms down by the sides. Bring your feet back up to the floor one at a time. And then let's take the belts for the legs. Let's work this. So if you have a belt at home, any kind of a belt, you can use this, like a bathrobe tie or something if you have a long enough belt to just lengthen the legs. So if you don't have a belt and you're working, just go behind with your hands. Let's take the right foot up, right below the ball of the foot, and extend that up. Good. One belt side of the belt in each hand, bend and straighten your leg a little. Good. Stretch that foot up towards the ceiling, press the thigh forward to the wall in front of you. Take both belts in your right hand and let the right leg move left as the left knee moves. The right leg moves right as the left knee moves left. So we create a V shape, but we don't want to go further with this leg than we are with the other leg. So try to make yourself even on the lower back, that sacrum area. And just taking a breath, stretching the hamstrings and opening the hips. Bring both back up. So bring the foot up and the knee up towards the ceiling. Take the belts in the left hand and let that right knee cross over. Let the left knee move to the right so that we get this scissor effect. And for most people, this is a really good stretch for the hamstring, right?
It's a different sensation.
It is, and no matter who I'm working with, everybody always feels this. This is a good stretch. Bring that back up straight. Take the belts in both hands. Let the left leg go long along the floor. And then let your belt slide up your hands as you move that leg to the floor. And then as you come up, open your elbows and your belt up and stretch the back of that knee. That's often a tight area. Yeah, that's often tight. And then just take that down and bring that right foot to the floor And take the belt to the left foot. And bring that up to the ceiling. Settle your shoulders down, make your arms long, and bend and straighten a couple times. Just keeping the sole of the foot up as you do that. Just trying to lengthen that hamstring to whatever degree you're able. And remember that varies from person to person. And remember that there's no pain in yoga. Take both hands and the belts in the left hand. And then let that left leg go out. Let the right knee move right and balance yourself nicely in the middle. And don't grip your belt too much. And take a breath. Bring that leg up and the knee back up towards the ceiling. Take the belts in the right hand. Let the left leg move right. Let the right knee move left. And just take a breath. Just kind of feeling that nice stretch at the back of the leg. And then take that back up. Bring both belts back to both hands. And lengthen the right leg. Make sure your toes are up and that they're centered. And then let that left leg come down as you draw down your hands down the belt to the floor. And then lift back up. Stretch the back of that leg, opening that area behind the knee. And then release that down and set your belt aside and stretch the body long. Good, and exhaling down. Bring your feet back up to the floor and cross your right leg over your left.
Like the lady.
And take your right hand and just open that thigh up a little. So you want your knee and hip to be in a straight line. You don't want it to be out like this. You don't want it to be way over. You want this to be in a straight line. And then lift both hands to the knees, or if you have to put one behind, that's fine too. Just keep both hands on the sides of the body where they're at. And sometimes I'll see students doing this, so you don't want to do that, but just coming up to holding that in for a minute. And then just take that slightly to the left a little. Just feel a little more stretch through the right hip. Yeah, that is a nice little kind of a new stretch I've got going here, and I really like it. A lot of times students will comment on that. Come back to the center. Take the left foot down to the floor. And then take your right hand down, palm beside you. And without moving this configuration, take your hand to your knee and move the legs over, letting the big toe hit the ground. And turn your head the other way to the right. And take a breath. So again, just twisting out some waste, some old emotions from the body. Come up to center. Uncross. Cross the other leg over. Have this straight line from knee to hip. Push the left thigh away. And then bring one hand to each knee as you draw that up. And just letting that stretch for a minute. And then take that whole thing to the right a little. Just feeling a little more stretch in that left hip, perhaps. Is that where you feel it, Ryan?
I feel it more intensely. Like there's more, not as much give on this side. I'm not as flexible.
Okay, that's it.
Side.
Yep. So coming back to the center there and bring the right foot down to the floor. Take your left hand palm down and then draw the right down, just letting the toe hit the floor. So yeah, you often notice that difference between the left and right sides of your body. It's pretty stunning sometimes. And then come back up and uncross that leg and extend your arms and legs. And then exhale the arms down. Now let's come up to a seated position on the floor.
Elevation.
Just coming to a simple seated position. Now we did talk about cleaning the body through pranayama. So that would be the breath work. That's the Sanskrit word for the breath work. So we're going to do Nadishodhana. Nadishodhana is alternate nostril breath. So we bring the hand up, your Non-dominant hand sits on your leg, either up or down. The dominant hand, you bring 2 fingers, the first 2 fingers in, allowing the other 2 to be extended. So the first 2 come in, not the middle 2, the first 2. Yeah, it doesn't want to cooperate at first. Trust me, it does not. And these 2 guys may not stay together for you. That's okay too. And bring that above the nose. It doesn't have to sit on the nose. It's up to you. And then just block with your thumb 1 nostril and inhale on the finger side. And then block with your fingers and open the thumb and exhale. Inhale the same side. Block with your thumb, open the finger, exhale. Relax your other hand. Inhale on that finger side. Block it, exhale, thumb. Inhale, thumb. Block, open finger, exhale. Inhale, finger. Block, exhale, thumb. Inhale, thumb. Block, exhale, finger. Bring the hands down. And just lengthen your arms as you draw the belly back and drop the head a bit, like a cat-cow thing. And then come up, inhale up, lift the chest. Exhale, round down. Let the arms lengthen. And then inhale, come up. And then exhale, round. And then coming up. Bring one hand down beside you and the other up and drape it over your head. And then just move it towards that bent arm so that you're stretching the neck muscles. Good. And then straighten up, straighten the arm, and bend to the side. Now make sure you stay well grounded, that you keep the arm straight, and that you're not letting the head go down. You keep that with that. And now roll forward so you stretch the top of that back, those back muscles in the top.
Yes, please.
Yeah, you don't hit that, right, Ryan? Yeah. That's not the usual spot. Come back up, come back down. Draw the arm up on the other side, drape it over your head. Move the neck to the side. And then bring the head straight, the arm straight, and bend over to the other way there. And then roll that forward. Yeah, good. And coming back up and down. Good, let's take the feet wide. So let's widen the feet as much as we're able.
Okay.
And bring the hands down in front of you. And as you push down, lift your chest. Press the legs into the floor. So as you're pressing down, you're lifting up in that oppositional force of yoga. As we plant the feet down, we lift the head up. So it's always that, very often that oppositional force. And then bring the soles of the feet together. And just rock them a little bit. So bounce them a little bit. Mm-hmm. And when we do this, we also work on that sacral chakra, which is that second chakra related to our creativity.
Fly
So,
away, butterflies.
Yes. So let's just lengthen the legs for a minute. Tap them out. And then let's come up to our knees for a minute. And then bring your arms here. No, hold on. Bring your hands back to your hips. Bring your hands to your hips and bring one foot out to the side. And then bring the arms up and just stretch and reach. And then bring the hands down and bring that leg back. And then bring the other leg out to the side and bring the arms up, palms forward. And then bring the hands to the hips and then back. And now we'll come down. We're going to come down for our meditation first to seated position. Okay, let's come up to standing. Let's come up to a standing position. So now let's come up to standing. And we're going to practice our warrior poses. So let's let Ryan straighten her little mat out, because sometimes the mats get kind of unruly. And let's step as wide as we're able. And then turn one foot out all the way. Now, if you have knee problems and stuff, your foot may not go out all the way. I have some students that it just won't happen. So just go to where you can. The back toes move inwards. And you extend. One thing I will say is when you are bending this knee, keep the knee over the center of the foot. Don't let it drift to the little toe. And just extend your arms away from each other and then bend the forward knee and gaze out over your front hand in Warrior Two. And you see how nicely that Ryan stacks her knee over her ankle and gazing out over that front arm. So there's a beautiful Warrior Two pose. Now bring your front arm down and extend over in Utthita Parsvakonasana. Beautiful. So side angle. Now keep your arms straight. Good. Relax your hand. Good. And then come back up to the center and move your feet to the center again. Widen your stance and turn the other foot out all the way and the back toes in. And then reach away from each other with your hands and bend your forward knee, keeping the knee over the ankle. You're having trouble with your socks. Yeah.
Right.
That's why we usually do take those off. So Ryan will get rid of her socks.
That's better.
Right now.
That's much better.
And gazing out over that front arm and just nice strong Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior Two. Bring the front arm down, extend over. Feel that nice extension right from the bottom of the foot up through the fingertips. Come back to the center.
And like I've said to you from the first moment we ever yoga together, Marsha, that my favorite pose is warrior.
Yeah, and that doesn't surprise me because Ryan is such a warrior, a survivor. Absolutely. So let's do we're going to combine eagle and chair. So we're going to let's just for a moment, just bring the shoulders into this action, just to loosen them up a little.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming, and then go back like Dory.
Back.
And back. And then bring the hands to the shoulders and make a few rotations. And then go back.
Another one where you hear the snap, crackle, pop.
Yes. And bring the arms out here, and then just fold them, palms facing each other. And cross the left over the right. And I'm going right over left because we're mirroring. So you're going right over left, Ryan. And then bend the knees as though you're sitting in a chair. And lift the elbows as much as you're able and take a breath. And that's a good stretch for the shoulders. Now make sure your fingers, don't bend your fingers, so keep them straight. And then come up and release the arms. And then bring the arms up again. And go the opposite way, going left over right. So whichever way you went before, go the opposite. Keep the fingers long, and then bend the knees. Keep them stacked over the ankles. Don't let them splay out too much. And then come back up. So just release, and for a minute, take a look at your feet. So that's when you can see that the feet will go a little wonky. Let's do a little, I like to, since we're doing cleanliness today, we do a little cleaning thing that I like to do a couple times a year. So step a little wider than hip distance and begin to swing your arms in an empty sleeves kind of thing. So yeah, we're going to tap out a little bit of the toxicity in our body. So we begin with the lymph nodes, that area. So we begin to tap at the soft spot right below the shoulders. Just giving that a little tap because the lymph nodes do not drain well on their own. So we encourage that, this cleansing type of thing.
Not only are we cleansing, but we're getting a biology lesson too. This is the only type of science I can get down with, Marsha.
All right. It is interesting. And then go back to empty sleeves. Ragdoll sleeves, yeah, that's a great word for it. And then we're going to tap out the lungs, which is right above the breast, right in the soft spot there. And that is, the lungs are what is responsible for getting rid of most of the debris in the body, so 70% of it. So we're just tapping the lungs out, cleaning the body in line with Sosha, right? In line with our cleaning. That also means different things about what you eat and what you hear and what you watch on TV. And then coming back to swinging arms. I was a big Stephen King fan all my life, read all the books, now cannot read the books anymore. Come back to the center. Now I'm going to turn around, but you at home do not have to do that, and you don't have to, Ryan. But we begin to tap the kidney points. So, oops, and there's my microphone smacking. And just going back and forth to that spot. And getting rid of some of the stuff in the kidneys. And then coming back to the swinging sleeves. Ragdoll. And then come to the center and clap. And then clap. Bend the knees. Clap, 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 clap. So just getting some stagnancy out of the body. Stagnation. Is that a word I used? I don't even know if it's a word. I'm not so sure.
It's a yogic word.
I made it up.
There we go.
And then coming back to the hands on the hips. Now, I want to go a little, just a tiny bit wider than you were. Bend the knees, clasp the hands, and let's do a little pranayama, breath work. Inhale up, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Don't unbend your knees. Inhale, exhale. Up and down. Up and down. Up and down. Again. And down. Up and down. Up and down. And coming back up to the middle. Let's step even wider. Stepping as wide as you're able.
Now, Marsha, with some of those type of movements and poses, moving poses, you could call them, do you recommend that we get vocal about it?
In what way?
With the inhale, you go, and then when you exhale, you get down and you just let out the huh.
Yeah, we could do the ha with that sometime. I like
it.
I'm going to add that into my repertoire.
I like it a lot.
I do too. Extend your arms. Inhale, exhale. Up, down. Inhale, exhale. Up and down. Again, exhale. Up and down. Come back to the center. Bring the arms by the ears, lengthen up. And then as you fold, don't fold from the waist, fold from the top of the thighs. Bring the hands down, fingers pointing forward if you can reach the floor, and look back between your legs. There may be some of you out there who can actually bring your head to the floor. That's great. Sometimes we use the blocks to support the head as well. But just taking a breath here in this wide-legged forward fold, which brings calmness to the nervous system. And then coming up and just bringing the feet together, either walking or hopping. And the feet hip distance again. Inhale, round the shoulders. Exhale back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now let's bring the shoulders to the ears. Exhale, ha. Ha. Inhale. Exhale, ha. Inhale. Exhale, ha. Very good. Now, just for a moment of balance here, let's just come up on the toes, bringing the hands overhead. Bringing the palms together. Whoops. Let's try that again. Coming up on the toes. Now, balance does vary from day to day. So you may have really good balance one day and not so much the next. And then exhale down. And as you bring your arms overhead again, bring the backs of the hands together and lift your toes and spread them.
Let me know.
And then exhale down. So now we're going to come down for our meditation. My son Mark will be playing his drum. You'll see that during our Shavasana. So let's come to meditation first, just coming to a seated position on the mat. So today, let's bring our hands up on the thighs. And let's bring the ring finger and the thumb together in the Ravi Mudra. A mudra is a hand gesture to the universe. This mudra is related to the sun and to the planet Uranus. It gives us energy, and it's good for your sexuality. So we just, as we bring our fingers to that position, we'll bring our attention to the crown chakra at the top of the head. And we'll just envision a beautiful light there, just flooding from the crown, all over the crown chakra, down through your body. The crown chakra is where we keep connected to others. It's also a place of our devotion and our trust. So with this in mind, let's just do one Om, inhaling to begin. Now one way to open that crown chakra even more is to do it a little louder. So now we're going to just do that one Om again, a little louder, inhaling now. And then just release your fingers and bring yourself down to a laying down position. Bring the pillow back under your head and your attention back to the rise and the fall of your breath. And just allow the feet to soften and relax. Releasing all the toes and softening the arches. Relaxing the ankles. Relax your shins and your knees. Notice the sensation of your legs relaxing on the floor. A little softer, Mark. Just relaxing on the floor, and bring your attention to your belly and soften all the internal organs, releasing those. Rest your shoulders and soften the back of your body, releasing it into the mat, into the earth, and feeling supported by the earth. Envision for a moment a beautiful green light all around the heart area, just opening up that heart chakra, allowing us to be loving and kind. Relax your face and soften all the muscles there. Relax your forehead and your jaw. And rest your mind. And as you relax there, I'll read to you. Everything in your life has an effect upon you. What you eat, hear, see, think, the people with whom you socialize. A clear indication of this is to be aware of how you feel after eating certain foods, listening to certain music, watching specific television programs, or being in a person's company. One effective yardstick is to ask yourself, how is this serving me? Is this disturbing my peace and stillness, or increasing my sense of well-being and happiness? See your choices in terms of nourishment versus toxicity for your body, your mind, and your spirit. And now begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And if it's comfortable for you, roll to your side and rest there a moment. And keeping your sense of peace, bring yourself up to Sukhasana, simple seated position. When you are there, bring your hands to prayer mudra, lift the sternum, and bow the head. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way home. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome to Marshashana, oh God.